Alright, so check this out. Same as before. SCR driver board. And we're getting the step charge. Okay, it's not loaded by the cell. The cell's not hooked up. Choke's not hooked up. That's this switch right here. What I did do is use my decade box to put a 400K resistor shunt in a sense off the diode cathode to ground, and that acts as the loading itself on the circuit. So as you see, voltage climbs from 1 to 4 and back down. And take note of the 3.7.8 watts that at 120 volts, amperage 0.14, that's being drawn. Okay, just take note of that. So that is presumably the loss of the variac, the current limiter filament, the rectifier resistance, and the 400K. So presumably increasing the voltage from the variac, I is equal to E over R and P is equal to I times E, says that the more amplitude I give it, the more power I should consume because the current will have increased. But watch what happens. Remember, this is not loaded to the cell, it's just going to 400K to ground. I turn the amplitude up a little bit more. We start to climb up to 10 volts. A little bit higher amplitude on the scope, step charge. Power stayed the same. Why did I do that? I'm turning the amplitude up even more. 20 volts. Higher on the scope. Power consumption went down. 2.6 watts. I'll turn up even more. Now we climb up to 35-ish and back down. Amplitude's pretty high now. Wattage 2.7. This is with a 9 hertz gate on 60 hertz pulse. We go up to all the way up. Look at that amplitude. It's going all the way up. Notice the light bulb's not lighting up. The current's not being drawn. That's the isolated probe hooked onto the diode, so there's no ground backfeeding. We climb up to 50 volts, it looks like. Let me see if I can get a max. Maybe. An average of 50 volts. And power went down, 2.6. Amperage went down to 0.03. 0.02. Huh. It's our power factor. I have no idea. 0.7475. Better than I would have expected. So, 50 volts. Extremely high amplitude. It's going through that resistor load. I hook the cell up. What happens? Ooh. Light bulb goes nuts because we're cranked all the way up. Then it starts drawing power, right? So what's different about the resistor, and why when it's inserted as a shunt does it allow the amplitude to increase through itself, but the power to decrease? A few bubbles there from when I kicked it. Anyway, pretty cool, huh? These things are pretty handy for tuning.